Raj from ZB Suite. Today I'm going to show you an overview of ZB Mailer. So what is ZB Mailer? ZB Mailer is actually an autoresponder, a mailing program that can send messages, send out broadcasts. It can do all kinds of stuff. It can send out a automated marketing campaign. It can warm up your emails. It can do an inbox spam checker. It has AI built into it. You can write emails via AI. You can do, there's all kinds of reports that you can do with it. It's a pretty powerful, you can do segments, you can do tags, and you can set up multiple sending servers as well. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of ZB Mailer. Now, when you first sign up, you are actually greeted with a wizard. It'll walk you through, like your name, the address, and so forth to create a workspace and set up an SMTP server. Now, I have another video that shows you how to set up an SMTP server using Gmail, and that you can use that video in the tutorial. It is in the knowledge base in support.zbsuite.com. Now, you are greeted with a dashboard, and this is what the dashboard looks like. It talks about a few things, active lists, and so forth, and gives you a brief overview of what ZB Mailer is. So I'm just going to go through each setting and each setting, the features, and then I'll walk you through every feature there is. So at least you'll get an idea of how to actually use ZB Mailer. Now on the right hand side here is your account settings, and this is basically when you go into settings, this is where you'll set all your information up, or you can just go through all that stuff. Your profile settings, you can change your password over here, and then of course your plan information. You've actually ZB Mailer comes with 3 plans. One is a standard plan, one is a pro plan, and then the third one is the enterprise plan. Now the pro plan is actually what most of you will be getting if you're part of the Zeus Bounty smart contract program. You will get access to the pro license. If you want to upgrade to the enterprise, members of ZB Zeus Bounty Smart Contract will get a 50% discount on the enterprise license. Now, the differences are mentioned on the website of what each plan comes with. And then over here, of course, you have the integrations. This is where you would set up your SMTP servers. So you can use one at a time. So in this case, I've used basically an IMAP, a cPanel email inbox, and this is where the server settings, and then I just basically add the server name, the port number, and then of course the encryption. Over here, I have actually 2. I've set up 2. One I've set up is an Amazon SES account that I already have. So for this, you can actually, as soon as you switch this, if you go into that, it turns this one off. Or if you come back, and then you can't edit this while this is turned on. You can edit it over here. You can click on edit, and while it's turned off. So I'm just going to turn this back on to Amazon. And going back to the ZB Mailer, you've got the features of this. You've got your subscribers, your lists, you've got your segments, you've got your tags. The segments are something that you can add, different kinds of, you can actually build out a list using segments. Like, for example, I want all Gmails as a segment, all Hotmails as a segment. Tags is something fairly similar, but then you would say, for tags, I'd say, okay, I want all the cold emails as a tag, I want the warm emails as a tag, or I want people who purchased as a tag, so that's how you'd use a tag. This is where all the broadcasts happen. This is where you can send out the emails, send out broadcasts, send out blasts, send out all your campaigns through this particular menu. Over here is the SMTP inbox testing campaign. This is where you will actually enter some information here, and then it will test out how much of your email is going to your spam, how much is going to your promotional folder, how much is going, how much is any. It gives you basically it's a bot that does all that testing for you, and it actually will tell you what your emails are and how it's going and where it's going. This is an auto warm-up campaign. So here we have an email campaign. Again, it's all run by bots and AI, and it basically warms up your SMTP server. It actually, it will tell services like Google and so forth that you are actually sending out emails, and then Google is expecting some emails, some replies and so forth, so it's going back and forth. So it kind of tells you, okay, this is kind of a legitimate service, so it kind of warms it up. So you can do this, you can send emails weekly, monthly and so forth to kind of warm up your campaigns. Here is a sign-up form. This is basically where you would, if you have a lead capture, this is where you'll set up your sign-up form, and then you can embed this form into a website, and then this can, a ZB mailer then can capture the email. And over here is the workflow. This is where all your automation takes place. So you can, kind of send out emails based on, delayed timings and automate all your campaigns. And then finally, we have reports. This is, it'll give you a report of all your campaigns and how it did and so forth. And then, of course, in this box here on the bottom, this is your workspace. You can create various workspaces, you can create new workspaces and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to go step by step into each one and go over them, so you'll kind of get a brief overview. Now, I'm not going to make this video too long. Of course, there are a lot of features in this to cover, but I'll just cover the basic features. So over here, this is where you will create your list. This is the first step is to create a list. Of course, the first step would be to create the SMTP server. Again, I have another video detailing how to set up the SMTP server. Then the next one is, of course, you would create a new list. Now, I'm going to start by importing an email list through a CSV file. So I'm just going to show you how that works. So I'm going to create a list. I'm going to say there are three options here. You can either import from a file, you can copy and paste and then add it in, or you can actually manually add one by one. So on this one, I'm just going to call this demo list, and then a description demo list, and then I will say create. So once I create this, now it populates everything with all the information that you're already given. Sender name, I will call this ZB Suite as a sender name. Now you can either have this list over here to do a double opt-in. Usually it's not recommended that you do a double opt-in. Most emails, so because a lot of people, you're not going to get a lot of signups when people want to reconfirm the subscription. So I would actually disable this, but if you do want to double opt-in, you can do this over here. And then once this is done, you will say approve message and create the list. So now what happens is we said we were going to upload a file. I've got a small list of, I think 5 or 6 emails just to show you for this demo and how this works. So essentially the CSV file needs to have just columns, so it can have emails in one column, names in another, first name on one, last name on one, and so forth. So I'm just going to select, and then I'm just going to say demo list, and I'm just going to say open, and now it just brings that email in. So now this is basically the emails, this is basically the names. Now you need to match these fields. So over here you would say, I would say email, and over here I would say first name. So now I've matched these two, and I will say save and finish. So now it says it's importing, and it'll just take probably a minute depending on how many you have. Now it's done. I'll say go back to contacts, and now it has actually brought in all these emails. So here we have 3, 6, 8 emails that are brought into. So it gives you a list of total subscribers, the active subscribers, inactive. So if people unsubscribe in your list, it's going to show over here. And if it's pending verification is if you have double opt-in, and if they haven't actually reconfirmed, it'll say pending verification. And then over here you can have an action. You can actually edit the list or add a subscriber, or you can edit the unsubscribe page. So this is basically where you go and edit your unsubscribe page. So you can just put all kinds of information over here. So you can, say whatever you want over here. When people click on unsubscribe, this is basically where you can style it. So we'll go back, and then we'll go back to the ZB Mailer dashboard. So now, if let's say, how do I use segments? Segments is something where you want to segment your list. So let's create a new segment. Let's create one. We'll call this on the demo list, and we will name this a demo list segment. And then you just have to, some kind of description. You would create one. So segment already exists, so we'll call this segment 2, and we'll create that. Now, so you have 0 contacts here. We're going to add a criteria to this. Now, what is the criteria? What you do is, let's say if I want to add all Gmail addresses to this segment. So I'll say email address, I'll say add a criteria, and over here equals to, you can do equals to, doesn't equal to, contains, and so forth. So I'm going to say ends with, and here I'm going to say gmail.com. So this is a criteria I'm going to add. So any emails that ends with gmail.com will be separated into this segment called segment 2. So I'm going to save and update this. And let's see. So now it's got 2 contacts. We're going to view the segment. Okay, so these are the 2 with gmail.com that's added to the segment. So that's how you create a segment. So we'll go back, and it's a very similar situation with tags over here. You can create all kinds of tags. You can create a tag called all the cold leads. You can create a tag called warm leads, and so forth. So it's very easy. You click on create tag, and then you can add whatever. You can create another tag called people who bought, a current customer, or all kinds of stuff. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually come and kind of create a broadcast. So a broadcast would be to send an email out. So we would say, let's say, create a broadcast. We're going to call this a demo broadcast, demo campaign. We'll use HTML editor. Now you can actually either use an HTML editor, you can do a plain text editor, or you can use a drag and drop editor. Now we do have some templates in the drag and drop editor. You can choose those templates and you can import those templates in. You can even actually bring in various templates, email templates that you have from third party, bring that in as an HTML file, and then just attach the HTML file to it. So in this demo, we're just going to say HTML editor, and we're going to click on create a broadcast. Okay, so now what it does is it actually, it's like a wizard, and it goes through each step before you come into the design part of it. So you can call this your broadcast name. If you want to have a web version of the link, if you want, a permission reminder. So if you click on that, it will give you you can add something saying, you've subscribed to this email because you've joined this list and so forth. So it's like reminding the clients that, hey, you joined this list from this particular, so they can remember where it came from. So I'll click on save, and it's just going to go to the next one. Over here, who do you want to send this list to? So we are going to send this to the demo list. And if you want to exclude certain ones, you can. Then just say save. This is basically where you would say, okay, I'll just say ZB Suite as a name. A reply to address, this is basically what I have on my SES, so I'll keep that the same. I'll say save. A subject line, say this is a live broadcast. Bad spelling. All right, so that's your subject line. Now, if you do want to have A/B testing, you can do that. But for this demo, I'm just going to show you what it is. A preview text is basically when email's not open. If you just want to see a subject line for this, want to see a preview, you can do that. You can actually, I thought you can click this, but you can't. But you can, and then you can also add different things, smileys and all kinds of stuff. You can add emojis to this and so forth. Save it, you'll come into the design part of it. Now, what we're going to do is, the AI part of this is only available in the enterprise version, but I'm just going to show you how it works. So just like a demo, just to go through how it works. So I'm just going to go through over here, just some kind of text just to show you how this kind of works. So I'll just go over here and copy and paste these two paragraphs, or up to here, I guess. I'll copy and paste this, and I'll come back to the dashboard. Let me just come back to the dashboard here, and I'm going to copy and paste this. Now, if I want the AI to generate some kind of text, tags and so forth, I'm just going to click on generate result, and this is basically going to give me all the AI generated tags. So it's got the Mediterranean diet, all kinds of tags are added on here, and if you want, you can add more tags. Over here, it gives you each prediction for the emotion, whether it's negative, it's neutral, positive. It'll give you all that information over here. And this is basically what the AI is going to change the stuff over a little bit. So you can see this is the AI generated text. We're going to copy and paste this. And what we're going to do is we are going to click on save, and we're going to actually open this in an editor. So this is actually, I'm just going to copy and paste that into the editor, and then I can just change whatever have you. So let's go on here, and let's say we'll add, let's go up here and say hi, and let's just add a first name to it. So I can go into actions, I can go to greeting here and select a greeting. So hi, first name. I'll copy this greeting, I'll paste this here. So now it will say hello Raj, or whatever the name is that's been entered into the list. And then you can actually come back and just, edit this to whatever, however you want it. Regards, ZB Suite. And now you have this email. So you can actually format, you can do, tools, you can add whatever you want. So it's basically an HTML editor. And then you go save and next. So now you're ready. So you're ready to actually, send this out. So let's send this out, or you could schedule this, or you could send it now. So we're gonna just send this now and just check to see. So your email is ready to send. If everything looks good, click on send now. So we'll just send it, and this basically will actually go into a queue and it'll be sent out, and I should be able to get, I'm just going to open up my email, and this should actually arrive hopefully into my inbox. Now remember, emails that come into junk box or a spam folder all depends on how your email subject line is going to be. So you have to really, kind of test out, which ones are going to go into spam. You can't guarantee everything will go into your inbox. So this is the email that's just come. This is the email that we did, and this is the email that was received. So it was sent out to, and it's at gmail.com, and it has sent it out. So that's how that one looks like. So we'll go back in, so that one, so you can actually view the reports. You can see the one that I just opened, so it's one open. See, it's come to the other one as well. So remember, it sent it out to my other list as well. So now you can see the open rates. You can actually see how many opens, how many click-through rates. You can see how many unopens, how many bounces, how many unsubscribes, clips. Give you a detailed report of everything, and then you can actually view your email if you want to. So that's pretty much how you send a broadcast out. And now we'll go into the next feature, which is a pretty important feature. It's called the SMTP Testing. So this is basically an inbox checker. And so what this does is this will actually create, so we're gonna actually, I'm just gonna go through creating something so you can understand how this will work. So what you'll do is this basically tests through all the email service provider, and we've got a sampling of like a seed list of all these emails that this bot is gonna go out and send these emails out. And then it's going to then, tell you which ones come to spam, which ones go to, which one goes into your inbox, and all kinds of stuff. So what we'll need to do is you will need to create a new broadcast, obviously, and you need to enter this information, copy and paste this, and put this anywhere in your email content, right? So what you'll do, and then call this something, let's call this demo test. So let's go into next. So this is basically where it's going to send all this out to. So it's going to get into these filter checks. It's going to go into Outlook, AOL.com, Yahoo, Hotmail, business emails, Yahoo Canada, and Europe, goes to, some Russian, some Brazilian. So it gives you a sampling of email providers. And then over here, what it does is it gives you, this is a seed list of all these emails. Now, obviously, these are not real emails. These are actually, what these are kind of made up emails. So it's not going to matter. So you don't have to worry if, hey, some actual user is going to get it. No, these are just made up emails, and this is basically what we call as a seed list. So what you'll do is you'll copy this to the clipboard. You will add this into a list. You can call this like a seed list or whatever have you. So you'll copy all of these emails, add this in, and then what you do is send this broadcast out to make sure you have this information in the content of the email. Then you click on next. So once this broadcast is sent out, what's going to happen is after maybe half an hour, a couple of hours, what will happen is you can view these reports, and this is how this is going to look like. So it's going to tell you all the information of that demo campaign that you sent out. It's going to tell you, right, this much came into the inbox, this much came into spam, this much is missing. And over here, you can click on, the sender authentication. Then over here, it'll give you a score, how much of a score this did. So from anywhere below 100 means your sender reputation can be improved. So if you get 100, it's great. So, this will be where the score is. Obviously, you'll have to send out that campaign for it to really give you a full report. I'm just showing you basically how this works in a quick way. Any IP blacklist, it's going to say if it says clean, you're good, no problem. And then it will give you a delivery report. So once you send that campaign out, it'll tell you in Gmail how many went to inbox, how many went to spam, how many undelivered, and so forth. Now, obviously, this is the seed list. Now, we haven't sent any of this out. But when you send that email out, it's going to give you all this information and it's going to give you everything here. So the report is very detailed, and then it's going to come and give you, this info, so you can actually kind of gauge how these campaigns are going to do when it's actually sent out. Over here is content analysis. It gives you, what the message size is, what the HTML code, whether it looks good, your links and images. So this is basically, that campaign, it'll give you all that kind of information. And then over here, it's going to give you, like, for example, the steps, what didn't go right, what needs to be corrected, so what steps need to be taken. So this is basically how, it's fairly unique, guys, because, this is not something you'd find in a normal autoresponder. This is something fairly unique that you can actually do a test campaign and actually find out what's going to spam and what's not going to go to spam, so you can actually do a test. So this is pretty good. So this is how the inbox checker works. I would, if I'm going to send out a major campaign, this is something I would do, is I would actually put out a campaign and test it out first to see how it's delivering. The next thing, which is only available, it's very unique, it's called an auto warm-up campaign. Now, what is an auto warm-up campaign? So what it does is, now when you set up an SMTP server, you would, let's say you've got, you've just got a new, IP address, you've got a new SMTP server, you actually need to build reputation, you need to warm it up, you need to make sure that the IPs are not blacklisted and so forth. So you can't send out bulk emails on a new IP, because then, they're going to wonder, hey, what's going on here? It's very quick. So what you want to do is you want to do like a warm-up campaign, and this AI engine with bot is going to do that. So we're going to come over here and create something. So we're going to say demo warm-up campaign, and then you select your SMTP. You would say, whatever your SMTP is, you come to next. Over here, you would select what kind of category you want to, what kind of campaign are you going to be running with these SMTPs. Is going to be marketing, so we'll say marketing. So this actually will give you like a subject line. You can actually change this. This is basically just a dummy text here. It doesn't matter whether you use these. You can if you want. It's just basically going to our bots. Our bots are going to send this stuff over just to kind of warm up that campaign. So what you do is you can use this if you'd like to warm it up, and then you go into next. And this is where you would check all your email service providers. So if you want to just want to send it to US, you can just uncheck everything. So if you don't want to send it to Europe, you can uncheck, and so forth. Then you click on next, and you come into what's called auto replies. So this is going to ask you for the category again. Now, what is auto reply? So what happens is, now when these emails are sent out, what our AI bot is going to do is it's going to send out a reply back to the warm-up campaign, it's going to send a reply back. So what happens is now the campaign, all of a sudden they say, oh, there's going to be replies going back and forth. So now all of a sudden it kind of looks like a legitimate campaign. So it kind of acts as if, it's like a normal communication going on between the two, So here you would select that. And what happens is this actually will reply like an auto reply back to that email. So now all of a sudden the SMTP service is going to think, okay, there is communication taking place between the two, so it kind of warms it up. So that's basically how this whole warm-up campaign works. Now when you click on next, it will give you like a schedule. So how often do you want to send it? Daily, weekly? So if you say daily, you kind of don't want to send it more than 5 times. So, 5 would be the maximum. If you send anything more, it's kind of like an overkill. So you kind of choose 5. So this will actually run for 5 days. And then you click on next. And then it will send that warm-up campaign out. Now I'm not going to press it. I'm just gonna. Basically, what it's going to do is it's just going to, start the process of sending it out and scheduling it, and that's pretty much how it works. So the next one we're going to go into, and then over here it will give you, like, for example, the warm-up campaign. It's not running, so you can actually come over here and delete it, and then otherwise you can just come back in here and start that campaign again. So that's basically how that works. The sign-up form, what it does is, let's say you want to capture an email into a list. This is basically how you select. So you'd create a new form, and you would call this a demo sign-up. And I'll select a list. So I'll select this, like, which form do I want this to which list. So I'll click on demo list, and I will say create. So now all of a sudden I've got a form that looks like this. Now I can edit this. I can do whatever I want with this. I can just click on here. I can bold this. I can, change this to 30. I can do all kinds of stuff, underline it. I can actually change the colors or whatever have you. So I can do all kinds of stuff with this. So I can edit it however I want it. So then what I want to do is I'm going to say, right, I want to change this up. I want to add more fields. I want to change it up. So this is full name. So when I click on this, I can change this to first name. So I can do that. If you want to, radio drop down, you can do, one line. I can do that. And then what I'll do is I'll come back, and then if I want the appearance to change, if I want this, if I want border colors, I can do that. So I can do all kinds of changes to that. So I can see the border color is changed. So then that's done. Now the subscribe button, I can change this. I can make this, let's make this 30. Let's make it, it's centered. We will bold it, and we will change this color right there. That's the border color, sorry. Let's do the background color. Let's change that to a darker color. There you go. So that's done. And then if I want any other changes to the form background, if I want this change that to any color, I can do that as well. So that's how that is set up. So now I've got this form. I think it looks okay. So what do I do next? So what I want to do is now I can, if I want, let's say I want to redirect this form after they sign up. So what I'll do is I'll go into the opt-in settings over here, and I can either do like a single opt-in, send a welcome message, or I can redirect this to something else. So I can actually enter a URL for, like, let's say I want to send this form to Zeus Bounty. I would type in the URL over here, and then it will, it will send. So whatever, you just put, the information, but what you need to do is you need to enter the full URL, not just, the domain name or whatever. So, so that's basically how you'd enter that. So what's going to happen is, and then, if you want any notifications sent out, you do instantly, daily, whatever have you. And then what happens is, once that's done, once someone fills out this form, once they hit subscribe, you can redirect them to another web page or another lead page or a thank you page or whatever you want. That's in opt-in settings. Now, let's say you want to add this code into your website. You would get an embed code. So you would actually copy this code. You'd add this code into your website so it can actually capture the email. Or if you want to just get a URL, you can do that as well. You'll get a URL in here as well. And then what you do is you save and publish, and then you'll have that form. And that's how you set up a form. Now we get into the final part of ZB Mailer, which is the automated workflows. So an automated workflow, the way it works is, now I'm just going to create one. I'm going to call this demo 2. And I'm going to create one over here. So what happens in this case is someone subscribes to my list. So let's say someone either, you can have a countdown timer if someone unsubscribes. So if someone joins the list, that's basically what I'm going to do. And I'm going to, tag this to the demo list. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just space this out. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a delay. So I'm just going to drag that, and then I'm going to send an email. And let's see what else. If I want to add something else, I can, but I'm just going to show you for this demo how that works. So what's going to happen is, now I'm just going to drag this. I'm going to set a delay time. So let's say someone subscribes to my list, and in 1 hour or 1 day or whatever, I want to actually send them an email after 1 hour after they subscribe, and then save and continue. And then what I'm going to do is, after 1 hour, I want to send an email. So I'll set up a broadcast. Now, I don't have any broadcast set up. So when you do that, so you can create a new broadcast. So let's say someone subscribes to a list, you want to send them a welcome message. You will create a broadcast first, call it a welcome message. So when you create that broadcast, you save that broadcast as a draft or whatever. What's going to happen is it's going to show up over here. So then you will select that, and then save and continue. So what's going to happen is, this is how the flow will work. Someone subscribes to your list, it'll wait 1 hour, and after 1 hour, it's going to send that welcome mail. So then later on you say, look, I want to send, after another day, I want to send them email number 2, like a sequence of emails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here, I'm going to add another delay again, and then I'm going to have another email as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delay it, and then I'm going to send this in 2 days. So I'll go to days, so it'll be triggered in 2 days, save and continue, and then I want to send another broadcast. So what you will do is, if you want to do automations, you will actually set up several broadcasts. So if you want to send out 5 emails in this automations, you will set up 5 email broadcasts. So what's going to happen is, when you select it, all those 5 emails will appear here. So you can have, say, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 set up. So then you just choose day 1 over here, and then you just say save and continue. And now you've got a sequence: subscribe, 1 hour, sends an email, then it's going to wait 2 days and then send another email. And this is basically how the automation is going to work. Now, when it's all set up fully, what's going to happen is you will click on run. So when you click on run, it means it activates that automation. So, and you can create several automations. So, and that's pretty much how it works. So, automations, so you can create all kinds of, so you can create several workflows. So you've got demo 2, so you can just name it whatever you want, and then you've just go. So over here you can see view actions, it's paused. So when it's running, it's going to show that it's running, and that's when it'll work. And if you want to come and edit, you can view the workflow, and that's where you'll edit. And then finally, you will come down to the reports here. So this is going to give you all kinds of reports for every campaign that's been sent out. So in this case, we sent out a demo campaign, and it's going to show you all that stuff here. So how many people, how many have opened, how many has been sent. So 7 emails in that list were sent out. Obviously, I only opened that one particular one, so that's why it shows only one open. And so this gives you that information. So it gives you pretty detailed information. And pretty much that's it, guys. So over here, you can create another. So for example, let's say you have another workspace, you can create one, call this whatever, you might, that one was ZB Suite, I might call this ZB Short. And then you can have different campaigns for different, ZB Short, workspace. So now all of a sudden you've got, over here, you've got 2 workspaces. You've got ZB Short and it's supposed to be ZB Suite, but yeah. So you've got 2 workspaces, and you can switch between the 2. So that's pretty much how that works. And then, of course, I've shown you here, all the information here. So basically, if you really want to get that SMTP set up, view my other video in the knowledge base. It shows you how to set up your Gmail. Now, obviously, Gmail is not a good way to go and do bulk mailing, because Gmail will ban you if you start sending out a whole bunch of bulk emails, and that's got a lot of spam complaints, abuse. Then you're going to get into trouble. So, but it at least shows you the basics of setting up. So if you have like a cPanel, if you've got email accounts, you can set those up as well as an SMTP and go from there. But yeah, so that's pretty much a brief walkthrough of ZB Mailer. Of course, later on, I'll be doing more videos and showing you more detailed information on how to set up more things and how that workflow works. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning into this brief overview of ZB Mailer, and I'll see you in the next video.